When it comes to search, you can't imagine how easy it is. By default, all the forms are going to have get method, so let me delete this one. And at the same time, we have a submit button. So this one is going to just fire the inputs inside this form, and we have only one right now named query. Let me rename this one to queue only so we can have it as a shortcut. Now, if we to go to our view, and now if I to write anything, let me just search for something here, and if you hit submit, simply, since we don't have any action, so as you know, default behavior of any HTML form, it will submit it to the same page, and this is what we have because this is a query string. Now simply this means the HTML side of things is working just fine. We have to get back to our code and handle this from the backend side. So I will go to my routes file. As a start, I would like to clean up my code because obviously we have to use controllers at some point, and I guess this is like a good timing for it because we started to have some clutter in our routes and we should anyways organize our work. So I will go ahead and generate two controllers so we can just copy this content logic wise so we can wire this route with a controller. And in order to do so, I can just go easily to my artisan and just have to generate two controllers. I will generate one controller called category controller and another one called home controller. With those commands, right now we have two new files created inside the app HTTP and controllers. I will go ahead and just move first of all the home controller. I will copy the whole logic and I will just wire it with a specific controller. In order to connect any route with the controller, you have to pass the second parameter as an array. The first item inside this array is going to be your controller's name as a class, and then you just have to write here the action name. In my case, I would like to name it index. So let me just go ahead to here and just generate one public action or one public function called index. Now we have the content up and ready, everything is perfect with it. Now let me get back and do the same exact thing, but this time is going to be for the categories. Here I'm going to name it index as well because both of them are indices. And let me get back inside and just generate this one. Now with this being done, I would like to actually give a name for this route as well. We are going to talk about the names just later on when we are generating routes, but for now don't worry about them, I'm going to explain them in the future. For now, let me just get back to here so we can begin working on the logic of search. As a start, it's super easy using Laravel to just retrieve the data coming from your requests, regardless if it's a get value or even if it's a post value. You can retrieve very easily the content out of your requests. So if you have an input passed to your route, simply to retrieve it, you just have to type hint the request itself. Just remember that it has to be this type of request, which is from eliminate HTTP. If you to type hinted here, or in other words, if you to do any dependency injection like this one, so you can easily just go ahead and maybe do die and dump in order to see your content, and you can just call the function called, for example, all. If you to use all on request, then it will die and dump all the incoming variables inside this request. In our case, we just have one as an array and we have it as queue. This is because the parameter name, right? So if you would like to retrieve this one, again, Laravel has a syntactic sugary, so you can have like a million ways to do it. So let me show you just number one method to do so. You can easily have get, and then you can just pass the parameter name. Let me try it for you guys. This would be the first type, and this would be the first way to do it. The second way, which is you can have just another function called input, and you can again pass parameter name. And let me get back to my browser and refresh. This is the second way to retrieve the data out of a variable. And the third one would be that you can call it immediately on your request, because Laravel can handle it as a magic attribute. So let me just try it as number 3, and then you can see it. So the bottom line here is Laravel has a really clean and simple syntax. You can use multiple ways to do the same exact thing. So in our case, I would like to use just input for clear readability, and then we are going to just go ahead and search my categories based on this query string. So in order to do so, I would like to just replace the logic in between. So we have multiple ways to do it, but one of the ways that I really like is when to use when function. So you can use when, which is a normal function which will have here a condition or a flag, and then the second param is going to be an anonymous function to do whatever you wish. If this is true, then simply you can just go ahead and run your command. So in my case, I would like to just go ahead and do a function here so I can just search inside the queries. So by default, it will have a builder, which is eliminate database query builder, and this is going to be my builder, or you can name it query if you wish. And here I'm just going to have query where, and then I'm going to search for the title of the categories to be like, and then the search param, right? So let me just do it right now like this, so we can search exactly for this variable which is not presented. I'm going to create this one in a second. Now let's get back to the conditions. So let me just declare a new variable called q, and I will go to this statement and execute it if and only if we have inside the request an input called q, and at the same time it has a value. As simple as that. We are searching. I just have to fix one thing. Since this is an anonymous function, I just have to use it. So let me just fix this one so we can use it, so we have access to it inside this scope, and everything should work just fine. So let me just get back to my browser so I can try it with you guys. Okay, I have an issue with query must be type. Okay, so just the type of the variable is different. I made a wrong assumption there. So let me just change this one to this builder, and let me refresh. Okay, now we can simply try to search. This is what we have as a param, which means we don't have any data, so that's why we are presented with this illustration. But let me just clear the search, or how about we have a clear search button here. So let me add the clear button search here. I will get back to my categories view file, and here we can, at the end, maybe somewhere here, we can display a button to clear the search. So let me just go ahead and have an ahref with a button class and a button outline, maybe dark. And this ahref is going to just simply go to the same URL where I am right now. So let me just go ahead and generate a new route, and I'm going to give it a name, clear search. Now, when it comes to the route function, it's as simple as a helper function for you to generate routes. And you can generate routes by just simply type hinting the name here. So if you remember, inside the routes, we just named our routes, right? So this one has a name hump, and this one has a name of categories.index. So if you just simply come here, you can just generate routes based on the names that you provided here. It's just a cleaner way than writing the route name, especially if you have parameters inside your route. If you have something like then category and maybe, I don't know, like tags and then the tag name. So you might have in general very long routes and very hard to generate, but using the names, it's super easy to do so. Here, in simple words, we just have to go to categories.index, which means the same exact page. Or you can simply, if you wish, use from the request itself, you can call it as a global function. Then you can use just the URL. If you to do so, then it will generate the same exact URL where you are right now. But I would like to just show you guys how you can generate the routes. So that's why I would like to use this one for now. Okay, so now we have a button which is going to open the same exact page where I am right now. So nothing fancy, but at the same time, if you open the same page without passing the q parameter, this means it's going to clear the search logic wise, right? So here we have the route with this parameter passed. If I to click here, then it will go to the same page, luckily without any param, which means no search results. So let's test our searching mechanism. So is it working or not? I will search for Emmet maybe. So let me just search for it. And it works just fine. This is really nice. Now, if I to clear the search and I scroll back, I notice that I have clear search anyways. So let's just find a way in order for us to just hide this one, because obviously we are not in need for it. So I'll get back to here and I can just simply wrap this tag with if statement, and then inside this if statement I'm just going to use again that global function called request, and I can just have it saying that if it has q, and as simple as that. If it has q only, then please go ahead and just hide this one. So let's just try it. No search results. Let me search for something, and then we have the search. So it seems like it's working just fine. Everything is good with it. However, I was thinking to just simply, first of all, populate the input, since we just need to give an indicator for the user what keyword he's searching for. And at the same time, let's just hide this one, because right now it's useless actually, because we are just trying to search the categories. So how about we just go ahead and use the same exact way in order to hide the upper part. So let me close this one. And now I can just get back to the top. And at the very top here where we have this hero, I can just hide it. If we don't have any request, then display it properly, because otherwise we don't even need it. I don't want to see it. So let's just get back and refresh. So as you can see, because we have search results, it disappeared. Now we have to populate the search. And as easy as you can guess it, we can just go to the input here and just give it a value of the request. And then again, as you know, you can pass it like this, you can pass it as get, whatever you wish. So I will just try this one for you guys. So let's just refresh. And as you can see, we have it here. We can search. I can write anything else. I can clear the search and submit again. So let's just have it as, I don't know, maybe you can search for this word. So as you can see, it's working just fine, and I can clear the search. Okay, I did it wrongly. Obviously, I forgot the brackets. So just get back to here. Okay, obviously by mistake I wrote one extra character here, so my bad. Let's just get back and fix this one. We'll just get back to categories and we can search for something else, and we can clear the search, and everything is working just fine. However, one very important note, you just have to take in your consideration that the pagination is again using the query params, as you can see at the left corner of this browser. So if you to just simply have, let's say, one word, one letter, and you are searching right now for O, and the O is paginated. However, when you are trying to visit the second page, unfortunately, the search has been cleared and we are not on a hold of the queue param. So to fix this one, super easy. You just have to get back to your routes or your logic, in our case, our controller, and inside the controller, query string, and this is a function. So if you to do it like this, then Laravel, when it generates the routes, it will take a look at the query string and simply it will take all of the params passed, all the inputs passed, and then it will just go ahead and append them to the pagination. So in different words, let's just get back to the index and search for a word. And now if you to just see it down there at the left bottom corner of the browser, you can see that we are still passing O to the second page. I will go ahead right now and comment the changes, but for you guys, I'm gonna see you in the next video where we are going about the single category show.